Today on Hands On Photography, I have the opportunity to sit down with the photography legend, Mr. Jefferson Graham, formerly with USA Today, but now doing his own thing with the wonderful world of photography. We're going to talk about some of his best tips to get the most out of your smartphone photography. Y'all stay tuned.
This is TWiT.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Ant Pruitt, and this is Hands On Photography here on TWiT TV. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm unbelievable as always. I have the honor and pleasure each and every week to sit down and share different tips and tricks that are going to help make you a better photographer and a better post-processor. And every now and then, I get the joy and honor and pleasure to sit down with another great photographer and content creator. And this week, that's how that rolls. I have Mr. Jefferson Graham joining me today, and we're going to talk all about some ridiculously simple tricks to help you get the most out of your smartphone photography. But I'm not going to ramble on too much longer. I want to go ahead and get him on the screen right now to say hello and introduce himself. So, hey, Mr. Jefferson Graham, how you be, sir?
I'd be just fine. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me this week. I really do appreciate you coming and hanging out with me today. Now, you have quite an interesting history, sir. You know, if I were to look you up right now, the first thing that's going to pop up is, you know, everything that you're doing with your series on Tubi and YouTube, dealing with travel photography and street photography, and just really helping to teach people this craft in a beautiful, bite-sized way. That's just, I love it. I love how you do it, but there's more to you than that. You know, you have an interesting background. You care to tell our listeners a little bit more about you?
For many years, my name was Jefferson Graham, USA Today.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So I was at USA Today for multiple decades. The last 2 decades was as the tech guru. So I was a tech columnist and really chronicled the birth of the smartphone industry and the whole switch of cameras going to smartphones, and which is my love anyway, because I've been a photographer since I was a teenager. So it was a perfect marriage. I started doing videos for USA Today in 2006. Okay.
Yeah. So you've been doing it for a little while.
For a little while. I did a little podcast as well, 2,000 episodes worth, called Talking Tech. And meanwhile, a photographer for hire. So every weekend I'm out taking pictures as well. And I'm a jazz guitar player. So wait a
minute. So did you just say jazz guitar?
Yes.
I thought that was just decorations back there
on
the screen.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Who are one of your favorite jazz guitarists?
Well, my favorite guitar player is Martin Taylor, who you're probably not familiar with.
Okay.
Pat Metheny. Those are the two that I love the most.
Nice. I like Chuck Loeb. I never can figure out how to say his name. Chuck Loeb, Loeb. And I also like Norman Whitfield? Norman Brown. Norman Brown is another one of my favorites. Yeah. Good. I love jazz, but not just localized to guitars, but all over the spectrum, trust me. But anyway, this is not a music show. This is about photography. I appreciate you joining in today and allowing our listeners to get some tips from you, because everybody has a smartphone today. I feel pretty confident in saying that now. You know, maybe 10 years ago, everybody didn't have one, but nowadays everybody has a smartphone. And I don't know about you, but I get a lot of different messages on my social media, in particular with like Instagram or Twitter, with someone saying, "Hey, Ant, how do I shoot this with my iPhone? How do I shoot this with my Samsung, yada, yada, yada?" And I try to share with them different tips as best I can through this show each and every week. But what you're doing, I love your delivery, and I love how you've taken your experience from working with the press for many years and just really getting out there and just making things happen and making things look really, really beautiful simply with an iPhone. So on this episode, I want to hear how many tips you got for us. You got like
I have 10 top tips.
10.
In fact, and we have an episode that's going to run Companion 1028, Photo Walks TV on YouTube. Check it out. I'm going to be demoing the tips as well with Phil Rosenthal, who is on Netflix's Somebody Meets Phil.
Yes.
Somebody Feed Phil.
Yes.
And a guy named Shappy, who has the Shappy Pretzel Company, makes the best pretzels in the world, and we photographed pretzels. So it was a hard episode to shoot because we had lots of pretzels and we had to eat them and we had to photograph them, right?
He says we had to eat them. Oh, the horror.
Yes.
Well, let's go through that list here.
Okay,
So
let's start. My first two are such common sense. Okay, so men put their phones in their pocket, right? Women put their phone in their purse generally. And guess what? The lens is filthy. Clean it. Start off by cleaning it. I can't tell you how many images look horrendous, and then you just go and wipe it off, and all of a sudden, it's not so bad.
You know what? I'm guilty of that, sir. It's so sad. There's a lot of times I'll snap something out on a morning walk because I get up and I'll go walk in the mornings just to get some stupid cardio in. And every now and then I'll see a deer, I'll see, just some beautiful wildlife. And I get back to my studio here and look at it. I'm like, man, I don't remember it looking that bad when I snapped it. But just as you said, pulled it out of your pocket. It's a filthy lens.
The bottom of your shirt, just wipe the lens.
Just that quick.
If you want to take a cloth with you, it might be a little better, but your shirt will be fine.
Right.
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 So that works. That's common sense tip number one. Common sense tip number two is it's all about the timing.
Right.
Most people take the majority of their photos between, 1 and 4 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
The absolute worst time for photography.
Right.
That's just the way it is. The best time, everybody knows, is in the morning or the golden hour. Those are the two things. If you approach your phone as a professional camera person and use it like as a professional camera, your results are going to look a lot better.
Right.
And if you shoot during golden hour, you pretty much can't lose. So I do a lot of morning pictures as well. No deer for me. By the way, that's an iPhone picture behind me. So that was that's an afternoon golden hour shot. And one of my tips is on shooting sunsets. Most people will take a picture of the sun going down into the water or whatever, and then they'll leave, right? No, stick around, because the best show is the 5 to 10 to 15 minutes after the sunset. That's
that
when all
little
the great
bit of
colors
ambient light that's coming out and bursting through the clouds and stuff. If you not have a nice cloudy day. Yeah. So true. So true.
Yeah. So don't be in a rush. I don't know what it's like for wherever people are watching and listening, where they live, but in Southern California, we're in sunset season. It's November to February, the best sunsets of the year. I don't know what it's like in Petaluma, but
sunset has been hit or miss here in Petaluma. A lot of times it's super duper hazy here, so you don't really get to see much of it. It's just sort of an overhang, so it's almost like you're just shooting diffused light, period, but you can't really tell it.
Well, speaking of diffused light, most people will shoot portraits of folks in direct sunlight. So my big tip is shade is your best friend. You cannot get a good shot of anybody with raccoon eyes.
That's right.
Right. And you barely see their face. If you're in direct sunlight and you have to do a shot, have the sun behind their head and you might be able to see some features on their face. But if you can take them over to the shade, you will do a whole lot better.
Now, with that said, shooting with the phone, they have flashes on them. What are your thoughts on the
horrendous.
flash?
They're terrible. Just turn it off. Don't even think about it. And I have tried.
I was baiting you on that. I know.
I know. I tried every solution. You could, for $20, you could buy an LED light and you could walk around with it, but it does not. You'd basically have to have it right here to get any light on the face. It's not going to help. The trick is moving, which that's another one of my tips. Keep moving until you get it right. So if I'm photographing Ant right now, we're going to go head on, maybe left, maybe better. right side, maybe better, from the back. And we're going to keep moving until we get the right shot. Of course, that doesn't work for sports. It doesn't work for school plays. But if you're at the park and you've got someone there, just keep moving around until you get it right. One of those 4 options is going to work.
Right. All right. So we get ourselves a nice, inexpensive LED light panel because that's going to be 200% better than the flashes on the back of our trusty iPhones. So what is our next tip?
Well, I just have to say that the LED will work inside at a party or something like that. It will not do anything outside in direct sunlight.
Right.
Period.
Just not powerful enough, right?
It's not.
Right.
And but I mean, I shot on it the other night at a wedding, but that was fine for a party room.
Right.
But you better be pretty close. Right.
I don't know if anybody wants you right up on them with their phone, though.
No,
right?
They don't. And it's too bright. It's too bright. But selfie timers. This is one of my favorite photo tips. You've got a beautiful timer. I don't care what kind of phone you have. You have a timer. It's really hard to get a good shot holding your hand out and clicking on the button at the same time. It's really tough. It's a lot easier if you turn on the selfie timer, go to 10 seconds, and give you time to line it up right.
Yes. You know, because if you're holding it out that way and you're trying to hit the button, you're probably going to introduce some blur just from tapping the screen, right?
Yeah, it's just really hard to hit that white button. So the selfie timer, I think, is a godsend. And I would tell everybody where to find it, but they change the rules with every iteration of the camera.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody's going to be a little bit different in their menu settings in there, but it's still not terribly hard to find. Right?
The other fun thing to use is the volume button for the shutter. Do you use that?
You know, I have that enabled on my phone. I have the Pixel line phones. This is the Pixel 4. I have it enabled, and every time I've done it, it sort of throws me off, even though I enabled it. I think it's just a mental block that I have there. So
there's something really, where are we? There's something really comfortable about having, well, okay, selfie's going to be like that. But for regular photography, you know, we're used to using a shutter button. Yeah. Right.
It's something. I think I just have a mental block, and I'm thinking, dude, just embrace it and use it more and more. It definitely is more of a natural feel. But again, this is just me and my weird brain and my phone.
It's not that weird. The other thing is the burst mode. You know, they say it's really hard to stop action with a smartphone.
Right.
But burst mode will do pretty nicely.
Right. Because it's shooting at such faster shutter speed.
Yeah, and this is the same thing. Each phone has a different setting for it, but find it in the menu and just hold your finger down at a soccer game, your kid running down the street. You can stop action.
What do you think the ideal frame rate would be? Say roughly like 5 frames a second, 10 frames a second? What do you
they don't tell you what it is, nor do you have the option of choosing.
Right? It's just whatever's baked into your phone.
Generally, the more light you have, the better chances you're going to have of stopping the action.
Right.
And what we talked about before about not shooting in direct sunlight, well, if your kid is throwing the football and running, you can use burst mode.
Right.
It's okay. It's not about the face; it's about the action.
That makes sense. What else you got?
Make use of apps to develop your photography. No photo leaves my phone unretouched. And
now hold on, Mr. Jefferson. Okay. Look.
Yeah.
But photography purists are going to say, hey, you snap that photo and you share it as is. That's the pure way of photography. There's no way you need to run your photos through an app, right?
I grew up in the darkroom. Okay. It's before your time, but I grew up in the darkroom, and you would enlarge a photo and you would do all sorts of things with dodging and burning and lightning and doing things. That's what we did.
Yep.
And that's what photography is about. It's about your image and then making it into something. And there's no photo that can't be better with richer blacks, richer color, darker skies. which are all things that are there. Just maybe the lens didn't pick it up. But we saw it. We saw it that way.
Right.
And so my favorite go-to app is Adobe Photoshop Lightroom Mobile. It's free, and it has tons of tools that I can improve any photo within 10 seconds just by increasing the blacks and adjusting the exposure. It's a free app. I love it. If you want to go berserk and crazy, Google Snapseed is the app for you.
Yes.
It's also free.
Yes.
Do you use it?
Yep. I use both of those. It's funny because you mentioned Adobe Lightroom Mobile, and most people assume that you have to pay for that. Well, okay, if you have an Adobe subscription, yes, you do have access to that app, but it gives you a few more premium features when you're a paid subscriber. But the free version of it is totally fine. It's totally fine, and you can get a lot of use out of it. And I've also recommended Snapseed in the past, because that's something I used to use a long time ago, back before Google got involved. And it's such a strong app with a lot of different tools. It's just gotten better and better and better over the years. They even have RAW support now in that app, and I can remember when they didn't have all of those tools, but yeah.
I think Lightroom has RAW support.
Yeah, Lightroom does too.
But my trick with Snapseed is on a cloudy day, if your clouds are so, you put it into Snapseed, you hit HDR, you hit drama, and you hit tune.
Oh, the drama filter. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It does not look like real life, but people really respond to it.
They react to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you put it on social media and they say, it looks like a painting. Well, thank you very much. It'll turn a bland day into a memorable one. How about that?
I totally agree. Such a great tool. That one and the curves tool that's built into Snapseed is highly underrated. Highly underrated.
My last tip is to experiment and just have fun. That's what photography is all about, is having fun. We've got these tools in our pocket that we did not have 5-10 years ago. We always have a camera at our disposal. I used to buy film. That used to cost money. Then I used to have to develop the film, and that cost money. And then it would cost money to get prints.
Right.
Nothing costs. Have fun, experiment, go crazy to every possible angle. Every time you do it, you find something interesting. As I said, keep moving until you get it right. But, go underneath, go above, have fun. That's what it's all about.
No, I 100% agree with that, as well as everybody that I know that shot film. I didn't shoot film. They always mention the cost that came along with that. So with their photography, they had to be a lot more deliberate with lining up their shots. And that's something that I don't have to worry about with just having a gazillion SD cards to shoot. Storage is nothing.
The first time I shot a wedding, and then I shot a wedding with digital. So it was 2 weeks apart. So when I shot my first wedding with 10 rolls of film, and I was done within 10, 15 minutes. I just was snapping away, and I said, this isn't going to work.
Oh, boy.
And then the following week, I shot on the Canon 20D.
Oh, wow.
And I said, that's it. That's it. Now, those were the days of the 128 megabyte cards. And the 256 megabyte cards. Do you remember those days?
That's no storage, sir. None whatsoever. None whatsoever.
Now I shot the wedding last week on 32 gigs.
Yeah, and that's plenty.
64 gig card is in the camera.
Right. That's pretty much what I do. Is I have a 64 and a 128, and I never get close for my projects. Never get close to that.
Well, when you shoot video, you do.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah. This is true.
Stills is not a problem.
Now, with some of your with these tips that you've just shared with us, let's think about it out and about. Say you're in Southern California right now. Let's say you're down there. Walking along the beach and walking along, what is it, like the strand of boardwalks or whatever they call that. And you see all of these beautiful shot opportunities. What's your approach when it comes to snapping photos of people just being regular, happy human beings out on the boardwalk? What's your approach with that?
I do that. I also do a lot of pictures of them from behind. I think, people frolicking in the sand from behind, there are no issues there.
Right.
Right. Sometimes I catch their faces. I have a friend who lives at the Strand, and she goes up to people all the time, and she asks them if they mind, and nobody ever minds.
Yeah, I've brought this up a long time ago. I think it was in our TWiT forums, our TWiT.community forums online. In my experience with just shooting street photography, I found that if I make eye contact with the person, because generally I'm out there and I have on bright colors. I know right now on the show I'm not wearing anything bright, but usually I have on bright colors, something orange or whatever, because I want to be visible. I don't want to be seen as creepy or anything like that. So typically they see me in the distance with the camera in my hand. If we make eye contact, usually a nod happens between the two of us. And that nod is like, yeah, take the shot. And a lot of times they'll even pose for for you. It's pretty cool to have someone just out and about, walking up and down downtown, whatever city you're in, and they just pose for you. It's pretty fun at times. Has that been some of your experience?
Yeah, and it's really easy to walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, do you mind if I take your picture?" And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, "Go for it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, now before we get out of here, tell us a little bit more about what's going on with you and your show. Because again, we're releasing this show today, and you have an episode that's dropping today. What's the episode that's going to drop?
Well, the episode is 20. I think we did 10. The 10 best smartphone photo tips that we actually talked about here on with you.
Excellent.
But we demo them.
Right.
So we show them off. Phil Rosenthal, who is the star of Netflix's Somebody Feed Phil, is guesting with me along with Adam Shapiro. He's an actor who also has a pretzel company. And we spent a lot of time taking pictures of pretzels and looking for the best way to make pretzels sing. We also went to the pretzel factory and I watched him making pretzels. So it's a little different. Generally, photo walks, the series I have, I go to iconic places and I show you where to get the best photo spots and introduce you to some of the locals for their take on the best photo spots. This season, we've been to Las Vegas, Zion National Park.
Oh, Zion. Oh man, Zion is so pretty. I really want to go there. Oh my goodness.
I shot that entire episode on the iPhone 12 Pro because I didn't want to drag my camera gear on this hike that is in the water that can go as high as here.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I just didn't want to do it. So I shot it on the 12 Pro and I think it looks really good. And our season opener was in Savannah, Georgia, where I shot it on the 13 Pro. So Apple was kind enough to send me the phone to Savannah and I went loose in Savannah. The big news with the iPhone 13 Pro is cinematic mode, which blurs the background like it does in portrait mode, but for video, and it looks incredible in good light. It looks incredible in good light. In low light, not as well. Doesn't do as well. I actually tried using it at the wedding last weekend and I could not get the wedding cake in focus.
Oh boy. Well, but then again, it's a tiny sensor on the phones. It can only do so much with light.
Yeah, you have to say this is a cell phone camera.
Mm-hmm.
You know, any discussion about any of this and is it worth it? It's a cell phone camera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about what you get for $1,000. You're getting really amazing cameras right now, and you're getting the phone that you use all day long, every day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, 365 days a year. You're living with this thing. And to the old, the question, everybody, do I need to upgrade if I got the 12 Pro? Well, you can sell your 12 Pro for $400 to $500, which then means that you're spending $2.50 a day to use your latest and greatest new phone. If you do video like I do, you want the 13 Pro.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I've never been the biggest iPhone advocate or anything. I've not had anything against iPhones, but this one, it definitely got my interest when I saw what was going on with the camera. I'd love to get my hands on one. I hope Mr. Laporte grabs one for himself so I could play with it, but I don't think he is. We'll see.
I've used the Pixel, and I thought the 4A when it was they were selling it for $300 or something 4A. Like that. That was the best deal in town.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take my 3 lenses on the iPhone 13.
Right.
Ultra wide, wide, and telephoto, 77 millimeter. I got pretty close.
Yeah. I can, man, and get that beautiful compression. Oh, I want to play with it. We'll see if we can get one at the studio. Hopefully.
So new episodes of Photo Walks every Thursday on YouTube at youtube.com/PhotoWalksTV. And I'd like to urge everybody to subscribe to my newsletter. I hope you don't mind these endless plugs.
No, I don't mind. Plug away.
JeffersonGraham.substack.com. New issue out every Saturday.
Outstanding. So, Mr. Graham, I really do appreciate you joining me this week and sharing these tips, because this is, again, it's just simple stuff that can really take your photography up to the next level.
Timing is everything.
Timing is everything. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today, sir.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks, that is it. Lots of good knowledge in there. Lots of simple tricks that you could do. Doesn't take a lot, folks. Just a little bit of timing and just be a little deliberate, and your photography is just going to elevate. I promise you. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to shoot me an email, hop@twit.tv. If you have some image critique requests, you can send those over as well, hop@twit.tv via email. But I won't show these images on the show unless I have your written consent. So just let me know if it's fine to show on the show, or if you just want it to be between you and I. It's cool either way. Again, thanks for being a loyal listener and subscriber to the show. All of our subscription options are available on the website, twit.tv/hop. That's twit.tv/HOP for hands-on photography. And if your podcast application has the option to do ratings and reviews, please do so. It really does help the show out, especially if you're doing Apple Podcasts. I really do appreciate those reviews, because it does just push us up to let other people discover hands-on photography and help grow this community. And while you're at it, give me a follow on the social medias. I love hanging out on Instagram and Twitter. I am Ant_Pruitt on Instagram. I am also Ant_Pruitt on Twitter. Give me a follow and tag me on some of your favorite work. And I'd love to chat with you over there too. And until next time, thank you all for the tremendous support. Thank you to my man, Mr. Victor, for making me look and sound good each and every week. And folks, all right, you know how we do it. Safely create and dominate, and we'll catch you next time. Y'all take care.
No ads, just the content. That's what you get when you join Club Twit. You even get extras like Twit Plus, our new bonus feed just for members, and exclusive access to the Club Twit Discord community. Join now for just $7 a month and support Twit as we continue to create top-notch podcasts you expect and deserve. We're just getting started, so be one of the first to join as we build Club Twit from the ground up. You could be an early member. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit to learn more and sign up now. Thanks.